I believe emails.
You don't have to. I mean, you can. Good morning. We are going to begin our meeting with roll call. And I will start with Mrs. Sherfain, Mrs. Gallagher, Mr. Greenbaum,
Here.
Mr. Mayor,
Here.
Dr. Rude,
Here.
Mrs. Tong,
Here.
Mrs. Winters,
Here.
Ms. Stern, we're all here. We did the roll call, we did the administration and attendance. Good morning. Let me read the open public notice and then the public meeting and the pledge of allegiance. Public notice goes first and then pledge of allegiance. So public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been given by the board secretary on December 22nd, 2023 in the following manner. Posted notice on the school bulletin board at the administration building, transmitted to the Courier Post, Philadelphia Inquirer, and Clerk of Cherry Hill Township. And now we will say the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and now we will go to public comment. We will start in the room. If there is anyone who'd like to make a public comment in the room, please approach the podium. And then we will go online if there's anybody online. I just lost my participants. Okay. You could please state your full name and your municipality, and you will have 3 minutes as per the timer on the screen. Again.
Morning. My name is Joseph Jaroslaw. I'll admit this is the first time I've ever done one of these. My municipality, you're going to help me out here. Cherry Hill? Okay. This is very personal to me this morning. I'm actually here for 2 reasons. One, I'm here because my daughter's about to graduate this year. My son has already gone through the Cherry Hill public school system, both very successfully. But I still care because I'm going to be in this district for at least another 10 years, maybe 12 before I retire. My wife and I are still debating that. And I care deeply about the children and their futures and seeing the town thrive. And the second reason I'm here is to honor my father. Some of you I'm friends with in this room know that my father passed away 2.5 weeks ago on New Year's Day, ironically. So what does this mean here? My father was a superintendent of school for 30 years. And one of the people on this board that I'm friendly with said to me, why don't you talk about what made your dad successful? Because he was in every single district that he represented. And I could sit up here for an hour and tell all of you what made him successful, but I'll pinpoint the one thing that he always told me. And years ago, when a similar situation was happening where they were looking for a superintendent in Cherry Hill, I called him up and I said, it's open question to talk about the superintendent search. What would you ask? If you were you looking for you, what would you ask? And what he said to me, and I talked about this at his funeral, he said to me was very interesting. This was his philosophy. This was a man, by the way, whose father, my grandfather, came over here with $10 in his pocket, a 3rd grade education, who encouraged the heck out of my father to get an education himself. My father himself was a City College graduate and had a PhD from Columbia. So his thinking was always, when he would get questioned as a superintendent, the parents would always say, what are you doing for the top students? What are you doing for the gifted kids? And he would say, you're asking the wrong question, because everybody asked that question. He would say, the gifted kids are exactly that. He actually hated that term, by the way, but they're exactly that, gifted. They're going to do well no matter what. The better question is, what are you doing for everyone else? What are you doing to bring the whole district to, can I have 30 more seconds?
I'm sorry, Mr.
Oh,
Jaroslav.
okay.
We really appreciate your comment. We appreciate your coming out.
No problem. Just
Last sentence, finish it up, bring it in.
my father said, no district can be successful if only the top is successful. That's not the sign of a successful district. Ask this person, whomever this person may be, what are you doing to make everyone successful, including the ones, excuse the expression, at the bottom?
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Thanks for your coming out and your words of wisdom. Okay, we go now to the line, and let's see, there's one hand raised online, and the hand that I'm sorry, two hands. The first one is Maha El Deeb. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name, full name, and municipality.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Maha Ildeeb, and I'm a parent and resident of Cherry Hill. I'm here today. Well, I'm calling in today because it's needless to say that the superintendent position is an extremely important one that strongly impacts learning, culture, and climate in the district, as well as the relationship formed with the community. We need someone who proactively works to bring about culture shifts in the district to create an inclusive environment at the schools for all students. We know that there has been high number of HIV incidents in the past months, which is not acceptable. Someone who makes students' social emotional safety a high priority and implements practices that prevent all type of harassment, bullying, and intimidation based on ethnic background, religious and race, etc. as well. We need someone who will proactively make an effort to understand the relationships and cultures of the community presented within the district, and what is important to their students. Someone who proactively takes steps to make sure that the different communities feel seen, heard, and included. Someone with lens of celebrating diversity and graciously embracing differences as to make us stronger as a community. Thank you, and that's what I wanted to share today with the team.
Thank you. Thank you for calling in. If anyone else would like to approach the podium, please do so now. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name and your full name and your municipality.
Good morning, David Kuzmanich. I'll spell that for you. Kuzmanich. Please look it up on YouTube, because what you're about to hear will remind you what happened a year ago this week. My son was bullied on the bus by 2 girls. I'm not going to mention their names because I guess mentioning names is now frowned upon. His HIB investigation found no findings, according to the Board of Education. But some of you guys weren't here last year. The police department contacted us, the prosecutor's office contacted us, and they found violations. So if the police department finds violations and you guys don't, this new superintendent should be able to overrule you and be transparent with you and with us on how important it is that every HIB case be conducted fairly and with transparency to all parties involved. Okay, because I don't know, and the parents on my side, we don't know what happened to, or what you guys did to the girls that bullied my son. If you remember, they asked him about his penis size. They didn't use the word penis. They asked him if he was a lesbian. They asked him if he was gay, how he identified. Mr. Rude's son here was appalled when my son said the word that they said. Okay, the township prosecutor went to these girls and told them that they need to stop. You guys didn't find anything, which meant it was okay for them to continue. And when I did call the school, Miss Stern, you said check with the school. No one wanted to talk to me about it at all. My son stood here. You responded to him at the end and said, please forward all questions to the school. We did before we came to the meeting. You had people sitting here on their phones, texting. I have video of it. It's on YouTube. Feel free to check it out. Kuzmanich. Young lady was sitting here, looked like she was sleeping. I spoke with her. She was actually praying for my son, supposedly. That's what she said. So if one person here is praying for my son, one is on the phone, I don't think your investigation was thorough enough. Maybe 8 to 10 voted that it was not a HIB issue. I think you guys need to rethink the HIB issue. This new superintendent needs to be able to overrule you if he's upset like Mr. Root's son was. When they said penis size, I can't tell you in the video, you can look, how many of you were upset about it. Just imagine a 12-year-old being upset.
Okay, we go to the line and it is Omar Rashid. You have 3 minutes. Please state your full name and municipality. You are still muted. If you'd like to speak, we are in a timeline. Please unmute yourself.
I apologize. I'm on my husband's. I'm Zainab Ozdener. I raised my hand on my husband's laptop. I wanted to make a comment. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to make a comment because I feel like there are a lot of systemic issues in the board and we need a superintendent who's aware of this. Obviously, the last commenter, Mr. David, my heart goes out to him. That's absolutely terrible. We, as a Muslim community, have seen these systemic issues with the HIB that, you know, our students in our community have gone through in the past 3 or 4 months. We were promised Islamophobia staff training in January. Well, the staff training January meeting has come and went, and no staff training has happened. We've been told that there's going to be a vetting process, which honestly, I personally feel that it is ridiculous because what is the vetting process? We don't know. There's no transparency. I found out about this meeting 15 minutes ago, so I couldn't be there in person. There's just not a lot of communication. There's no transparency. As a community, we're tired. It's not just the Muslim community. It's all of Cherry Hill. We're really tired. We want to be involved. We want to be active participants, and we really do feel shut out. Obviously, we know that there are certain laws in place that you don't necessarily have to respond to our public comments during the board meetings. We know that when you vote, we're not privy to how you vote, but we did elect you and we just feel sidelined. And these issues with students being bullied in Cherry Hill and it being covered up is not fixing the bullying. You know, kids shouldn't be bullied for where they're from, their sexuality. They shouldn't be asked sexual questions. That's insane. I think just more needs to be done. And the school is really dragging its feet, especially Cherry Hill East. I don't see the same issues as much in Cherry Hill West when I look at the high schools. And again, special education, it should be available at all of the elementary schools, not some of them. This is really important. There's problems with the busing system. We can do more. We have extra money. Hopefully the governor will be giving us more money this year. We really do need to do more. And I know Cherry Hill has the potential to be the best school district in New Jersey. And I really hope the superintendent we choose understands these main issues. Thank you.
Okay, we go back to the room. Please approach the podium. If you have any materials, please face the board. Okay, name and municipality and
Rick Short, Cherry Hill. This district has a problem with systemic lies. On August 31st this year, I received a letter from the district. Part of it was a lie. I have a witness that can contest to this. September this year, the newsletter said the roofs are done. Another lie. We also have the parking lot lie. And what happens with lies is they multiply. It becomes lies on lies because there's an email from the paving, from the bond, that the architect did it at the wrong location. Then there was an email that popped up from the district that said, oh, that's part of the capital reserves. But we can go back on video when the architect talked about all the ADA things were done. So what happens in this district is there's lies upon lies. Then there's the other lie, the no hate lie. A new program brought about by, it's not really new, it's been around. We've been talking about it now for 7 years. It's a lie that we think that we're doing better for our kids when we have the ADL training our children to be little racism scavengers. Quite amazing if you read the manual to the whole no hate program. At about page 24, you will notice that everything becomes about race, skin color, and then we go into microaggressions. And then we go into LGBTQ. Like David just spoke about, the problem is that when you continue to lie to the public, it eventually catches up. The other lie is that we have any connection to this sign right here, University of Penn. On December 5th, it was said, it was a thing that was said there, and there's also connections to our district and the University of Penn and the whole DEI program. Another lie. Mrs. Worthington is associated with the University of Penn. I'll be back tomorrow to
Thank you,
talk
Mr.
about
Short.
that. Thank
Okay,
you.
we go to the line, and Carolina Bevid, it is your turn. Please unmute and please say your name and municipality, and you will have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Carolina Bevid, Cherry Hill. I think this is a really exciting time for our district to choose a superintendent. And I just want to say, I hope that whoever you choose focuses on and has a track record of academic excellence, rigor, revision, and improvement for our kids and our teachers, everybody at large, in the community, just a really high bar. Because when kids are challenged and they succeed, they feel really proud, which leads to improved self-confidence, which I think would go a long way, not just in our district, but for all kids throughout the country, especially post-COVID. I want to see somebody who really sets the bar high for our students and for our whole community and has a positive impact. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next name on the line, and I just want to make sure it says Omar Rashid. I do want to make sure that is Omar because it's limiting our public comments to 1 per person. So if it is Omar Rashid and you would like to speak, please unmute. We cannot.
Omar Rashid, sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to mimic what my wife was saying, where we've been requesting the Islamophobia training. It's been, I think, over 3 months now, and we're constantly told that there's this vetting process. And like my wife mentioned before, there's no transparency as to how exactly that works. And, clearly there is a systemic problem here with the HIB. And I was actually surprised to see that it's not limited to just our community. And so we're hoping that, the superintendent that gets elected, kind of puts this on the forefront of their radar. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. The next hand on the line is Panina Mintz. If you could please unmute, state your name and municipality. You have 3 minutes, and just hold on, please, while we restart the timer. There we go. Please go ahead.
Dr. Panina Mintz, Cherry Hill. The only criteria for superintendent should be academics and nothing else. We are one community. We are one American culture. We are one out of many. The focus of the school district, the only criteria should be academics and nothing else. The school is not a psychiatric hospital. The school is not a social welfare office. The school's sole purpose is to give our kids the foundations of true education, to be critical thinkers and to think for themselves. The Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion program is an indoctrination program to turn them into robots submissive to the state. It is also intended to divide the students into identity groups and tribes. The Cherry Hill community is one community. We love every culture. We love every religion. We love every person as long as they love this country, America, not other countries, this country. The love of this country, the pride of this country, the beauty of this country is not being taught in Cherry Hill. Our kids are learning to hate this country, hate themselves, hate their neighbors, and hate their fellow students. It is from the top leadership in the school that is teaching the children hate. I would like you, the Board of Ed, to put an immediate end to the ADL Hate Has No Place His program, which teaches the kids to hate each other and hate their neighbors. The diversity, equity, and inclusion is intended to divide kids by their skin color, by whatever other identity group you divide them to. And that is the most destructive thing you can do to a child. I second all the previous speakers on this call. They're all concerned about higher standards to our children because that will set the higher standard to our future as a society. If you teach them to hate as children, you're going to have hateful adults, and that must stop. I plead you to only select a superintendent that focuses on academics only. Thank you.
Okay. And there are no other new people at the podium. There are no other new hands online. So I'm going to close public comment. And make sure I say the right language. So everybody hold on with me. Okay. Apologize. Okay. At this time, I'm going to make a motion to convene an executive session. No definitive action will be, well, to discuss personnel matters. We'll say it that way. Do I have a second for the motion to convene? Dr. Rude, all in favor? Okay, motion carries, and we will go into executive session.